build-up only continues.
With
China.
With Chinese border situation, right? So I think the first thing we have to understand is that the price that we're paying in human lives is the cost of changing the status quo. And where India changed the status quo, and we've seen this through satellite imagery starting from May 2019 when this government was sworn in, the second term of this government was sworn in, is that the infrastructure construction along the border has been massive. And you know, this is also, it's a change of political mindset, but it's also a change of military mindset. As long as we were a ground-centric force, ki army sab kuch karega, it was roads are a bad thing because you are building an invasion highway for the Chinese to come in. When you move to an air-centric paradigm, and we should have seen this with Balakot, because you remember Balakot was the first example of the Indian government going in for air retaliation as opposed to ground-based retaliation. When you look at it from an air planner, you see that roads are a very good thing because they kind of channel your enemy forces into a narrow, thin line where you can take them off your own way at your own time and place of choosing. So what we're seeing is we are paying the price for changing the status quo and building a lot of infrastructure on our side of the LAC. But projecting that out, what's going to happen is the Chinese are going to be forced to accept that status quo. You may see a lot of flare-ups happen because they broke the consensus of not getting lethal on the border. And that, mind you, that was a breakdown of standards and procedures and protocols that had worked perfectly for the last 40 years. I still believe it was a blunder. But what you're going to see here on is consistent low-level military actions of one sort or another. If you look at the build-up, for example, in Spangur, in the Spangur Gap, in the lake Spangur, just south of Pangong, you know, they've got tanks and artillery on their side, we've got tanks and artillery on our side. Now, what if without firing a shot, they just start moving their tanks down the plain? If they move, are you willing to fire the first shot to stop them? The consequences of that will be too great. I don't think local commanders are authorized to fire shots these days, but to actually fire an anti-tank round or a shell, an anti-tank shell, I don't think this has been resolved completely. Expect a lot of flare-ups to happen. This is going to be the new normal. This high tension, possibly low level conflict is going to be on for at least a year, year and a half, 2 years. But worryingly, what I'm hearing from Beijing is that Xi Jinping is hopping mad with us and he wants us to be taught a lesson. So it might get actually quite a bit hotter as well. I'm not seeing any signs of it getting hotter, but we're definitely seeing that they're building the infrastructure on their side to make it hotter. Before this, from Ladakh to Arunachal, there were only 6 heliports. Each heliport was, you know, they weren't just pads. They were full on with hangars and things like that. There were only 6. Within the space of 2 months, they built 24. Right? All within a few hundred kilometers of the LAC. So there is something coming, unfortunately. How intense or how vicious it's going to get, we don't know. But it may even come after about 6 to 9 months when people think it's not going to come. But something's going to happen.
Abhijit,
because this is an untenable situation.